Hello, gist lovers, and welcome back to Oba's Trending Gist, where we break down the stories that matters to you. The nation recently mourned the passing of the former President Muhammadu Buhari, and with his passing comes the inevitable questions of his legacy. Today, we are zeroing in on the one thing that affects every single one of us, that is the economy. The team at Arise News did a phenomenal breakdown of his economic policies, and I have to tell you, it is a must-watch. They analyzed the good, the bad, and the outright disastrous. So, let's dive into their analysis and then I'll be back with my own critical take. Let's get into it. Alright, first off, Rotus Odiri starts by diplomatically acknowledging some of the administration's flagship programs and intentions, the things that look good on paper. He then immediately contrasts this with the cold, hard data of Nigeria's GDP growth under Buhari. So sit back and take a watch.
Now for global business updates, Rotus Odiri joins us. Good morning, Rotus.
Good morning, Dr. Abasi. Good morning, Vimbai. Good morning, Rufai. All our viewers out there. Of course, where else do we start? But condolences to the family of former President Muhammadu Buhari. As you know, great cover there from This Day newspaper. For us, I guess in the business section, it's to review his policies, and if you look at economic growth during his time,
Recession.
yeah, so he had he averaged 1.5% GDP growth. Now, of course, in 2015, Jonathan handed over to him. In 2023, he handed over to President Tinubu. So if you X out those years, he actually averaged about 1.1. Because he had, of course, a recession in 2016 and 2020. On the good side, if you look at the policies that at least he, tried to put forward, he signed the Petroleum Industry Act, prioritized, rail infrastructure, Warri, Itakpe, and all those other places. Pursued the Siemens deal. Didn't really get us where we were trying to go, but at least he kicked it off. We should have added it. I think PEBEC was put forward under his tenure, the Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council. The Anchors Borrowers program had good intentions, trying to get liquidity over to farmers, even though there were issues with defaults here and there. And then you get to the troublesome side, right? The bad, unfortunately, and unfortunately that kind of outweighs the good. So
Did you hear that? The bad outweighs the good. Now, this is where the analysis gets heavy. Rotus presents a damning list of economic missteps that crippled Nigerians' businesses and households, from the insane amounts spent on fuel subsidy to the botched currency swap that we all suffered through. This is the core of the argument. Sit back and watch this.
the recessions maybe weren't really his fault, because in '84 oil prices tanked. It was the same thing in 2015. 2020 was COVID. But the fuel subsidies, according to NATI, the extractive industries body, he spent about 12.4 trillion on fuel subsidies between 2015 and 2022. Obasanjo, Yaradua, and Jonathan combined between 1999 and 2014 spent 8.6 trillion. So he outspent all of them. There was, of course, the fixed exchange rates, which caused FX scarcity. People couldn't get access. The rate wasn't realistic. Banks stopped honoring transactions on debit cards. There was the botched currency swap. We all remember how that's impacted people. In fact, in 2015, the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria said that 227 businesses closed. About 222 were SMEs, another 50 or so were, if you add 270 or so, 50 of them were manufacturing companies. About 4.5 million jobs were lost. You got the Ways and Means, which as of March of 2023, right before President Tinubu took over, that was at 27.5 trillion. Debt service to revenue ratio peaked at 111%.
A debt to revenue ratio of 111%. That means we are borrowing money just to pay the interest on our debts. Insanity. Now, after that heavy data drops from Rotus, his colleague Rufai Oseni and Vimbai jumped in. This is where the analysis moves from charts on a screen to the raw, passionate frustration that millions of Nigerians feel. Rufai, in his classic style, doesn't mind words. So take a watch.
Because he was borrowing so much to maintain the electricity subsidies, fuel subsidies, foreign exchange subsidies, and so on. Then don't forget when he closed the borders, trying to boost manufacturing of food in Nigeria, and that just spiked inflation. He banned Twitter when he didn't like what they said when they took down a tweet of his. That was under Jack Dorsey's tenure before Elon Musk took over for 7 months, which impacted e-commerce businesses and folks that were trying to sell. So look, the numbers just speak for themselves. I mean, it is what it is, and it's at this point we're still trying to recover from some of that. Going to it is what it is.
But moving on, as regards Buhari tanked the economy. Rotus, let's not deceive ourselves. He put us in a lot of quagmire where we are. He put us in so much quagmire that the succeeding APC government blames it rightfully for all that happened. Look at the Anchor Borrower scheme. Yeah, good intention. After rice pyramid, what next?
Yeah.
That was when we had the concept of political farmers. Look at the needless recessions. You didn't state what caused those recessions.
Well, it was oil prices and COVID.
It was not oil prices, Rotus.
Partly.
The first slump of recession, I think that was around 2016. 2016-ish. Was because he came in 2015 for 6 months. He didn't even have minister. He had no directions.
That's true.
That was what caused the recession. It was a do-it-yourself recession. So there was no way to be able to plan and buffer economically. He didn't have ministers. He didn't have anything. The crude oil price too now came on top of it.
Yeah.
That was when we will get a facility to now defend our currency. You remember, he first started with a float that he couldn't back up.
Right.
Those were bad economic policies. Then when that float started hurting us, that the Naira was going to close to 500, he then now looked for money, defended back to about 306, found a level. At some point, they now allowed to free float again up to 360. They now started hedging at that point. So a lot of Taco Buhari, changing his mind back and forth, but we give him his tributes, his past today. I just hope leaders that are coming at the back also learn from all of this. Yeah. He inherited a healthy economy from Jonathan, and he tanked it.
He did.
Took the economy, Olule. Sad.
He tanked it. That is heavy, man. You heard Rufai. And honestly, there's no other way to put it. The Arise team laid it bare. But let's connect the dots even further. What we witnessed under Buhari wasn't just a series of isolated mistakes. It was a domino effect of flawed economic philosophy. Starts with the way and means borrowing. That's 27.5 trillion naira. In simple terms, that's the government printing money to cover its expenses. It's the fastest way to devalue your currency and cause hyperinflation, and that's exactly what happened. Then you have the obsession with a fixed exchange rate. While the intention might have been to project strength, the reality was a disaster. It created a massive black market, starved legitimate businesses of Forex, and made it impossible for investors to plan. Now, the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria said 227 businesses closed. That's not a statistics. Those are real families, real jobs, real dreams that died because of that single policy. And let's not forget the border closure, another good intention to boost local production. But what was the result? The price of rice, chicken, and other staples shot through the roof. You can't just shut the door on trade without first ensuring you have the capacity to meet local demand. It spiked food inflation and punished the very people it was meant to help. The tragedy of Buhari's economy is that every good initiative, like the railway, was completely undermined by the bad policies. What good is a new train line if the economy is so broke that businesses can't afford to move their goods on it? The numbers don't lie. The empty pockets don't lie. The high prices in the market don't lie. The previous administration, led by President Buhari, inherited a struggling but functional economy, and through a series of predictable and preventable policy failures, drove it into the ground. So, what do you guys think? Do you agree with the Arise News panel? What was the single worst economic policy of the last administration, in your opinion? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's have a real conversation about this. It's crucial we learn from these mistakes so we never repeat them. A huge thank you to the team at Arise News for their sharp and courageous analysis. If you found this breakdown valuable, please hit that like button. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Obas Trending Gist for more content that keeps it real. Until next time, stay informed and stay engaged.